at Toronto Pearson to fly on Air North's inaugural nonstop flight from here to Whitehorse in the Yukon. Air North has been operating a link between Toronto and Whitehorse twice a week during the summer months since 2022, but up until this point that route has operated via a stop in Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories. Now with this nonstop operating, they will convert one of those twice weekly flights to the nonstop, with the other weekly flight continuing to operate via Yellowknife. The aircraft did come in the day before and they overnighted, that way they could use the same crew on the outbound, so they did have to tow in the aircraft from a remote stand. The aircraft for my flight up to Whitehorse would be CFNYA, a 2011 built 737-800 that came to Air North in October 2024, and I want to put the history of the aircraft here on the screen. My aircraft does carry the name, well, this, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but in Gwich'in it does translate to Vision the Heart Sees, and is symbolic of the airline's continued partnership with the Vintut Gwich'in First Nation of Old Crow, who owns 49% of Air North at the time of making this video.
Air North flight 28826 with destination to Whitehorse. We are now inviting those guests who are seated in rows 20 and higher. If you are seated in rows 20,
for this flight up to Whitehorse, I'll be sitting in seat 5F.
Yeah.
Chaque membre d'équipage est là pour que vous vous sentiez comme chez vous. N'hésitez pas à nous faire savoir si nous pouvons faire quoi que ce soit pour améliorer votre confort. Avant le départ, veillez à ce que tous vos bagages à main, y compris les ordinateurs portables et les sacs à bandoulière.
Air North 826, wind 0909, gusting 15, clear takeoff, runway 05.
Prep takeoff 05, Air North 826.
North 826, contact departure 128.8.
1288, Air North 826, please.
There was a decent amount of space between my knees and the seat in front of me, probably about 6 or 8 inches. And there was also good space at my feet, even with the bag under the seat. In In the seat back pocket there was an in-flight magazine as well as a safety card. At this point in time, Air North does not offer in-flight charging for devices on the seats, so I did bring my own portable charger for this long flight.
26 with Sugars to Whitehorse. We have reached the cruising altitude of 36,000 feet. We have a flight time remaining of just over 5.
They did have a pretty big tray table on board their planes, so you can use it for your laptop or other device. In the in-flight magazine, they do have information about the aircraft in the Air North fleet, including the cargo aircraft they do have. And then above that, they do have their route map, which does not yet show the Nonstop from Whitehorse to Toronto, but I imagine the next issue will. Just before passing over Lake Superior is when the drink service came out. Air North is very proud of the fact that they're one of the last Canadian airlines that serve completely free meals of some kind to every single one of their passengers on all of their flights, including the shorter regional flights that leave Whitehorse on their ATRs. The type of the meal can vary from hot meal to cold meal to a sandwich to breakfast, and it all just depends on the length of the route and the time of the day the flight is happening.
We'll also be serving a meal. Our meal options for today are chicken Alfredo pasta, beef brisket, and for vegetarian option, it's kung pao tofu. Thank you and enjoy the flight.
The crew did start bringing out the hot meal right after we had passed over Lake Superior. For the meal, they did have a salad as well as bread and butter with a brownie for dessert, and for the hot portion, they did have beef brisket with Brussels sprouts and mac and cheese. After the meal was cleaned up, I decided to settle in and enjoy a movie that I had downloaded on my device before the flight. Air North does a pretty good job in general of saying what seats have window views, which ones don't, and which ones have partial window views. Here's a seat map from their website describing which rows on the 737-800 have window views, and in this case, which ones have partial window views. Here's a better view of how much room I had at my feet while my bag was under the seat in front of me. At some point while watching a movie on my phone, I fell asleep without even realizing it, and I didn't wake up until we were about to start our descent into Whitehorse. Another thing Air North is known for is their warm cookie service, which unfortunately I did sleep through. But here's a picture of the cookie they did serve on a different Air North flight I took a couple days later.
Descent into Whitehorse with an arrival time of 1 p.m. Weather in Whitehorse is light clear to the south, cloudy skies and temperatures around 11 degrees Celsius. On behalf of Air North Yukon Airline, thank you for flying with us today and enjoy your stay. Welcome home and see you in the future.
Had this been a clear day, I would have been treated to some absolutely fantastic views of the mountains beneath us, but unfortunately due to some fires in southern Canada, the sky was pretty much smoke-filled for the entire flight into Whitehorse.
Exits. There are 2 doors in the front of the cabin and 2 doors in the rear of the cabin. There are also 4 emergency window exits located in cabin. Welcome to Whitehorse. The local time is 12:57 p.m. For your safety as well as for the safety of the passengers seated around you, please remain seated.
I had an absolutely fantastic time on board Air North's inaugural nonstop flight between Toronto and Whitehorse up here in the Yukon. The food was fantastic and the crew was amazing as well, and I wish more airlines would have free meals for all passengers on these longer flights across the country. I did talk to a couple people on board and they did not realize they had booked a nonstop flight between Toronto and Whitehorse, and said they were very happy they did end up going on the nonstop, given the stop in Yellowknife adds an hour to 2 hours to the journey. I have a lot of fun videos and activities planned for my trip here in Whitehorse, including a flight up to Dawson City on one of the airline's ATRs, and the flight back happening on one of their classic Boeing 737-500s, as well as an interview with the airline's CEO, and finally a trip down to Vancouver on another one of the airline's 737-500s. All of these videos should be coming up on my channel in the near future.